Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. So now everyone, you have been notified that you are being recorded, so don't do anything weird or crazy right now. Just hold all that weird and crazy stuff in, because it will be officially part of our record.
Pants are required, guys.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
I see that,
you.
yes, most people have their microphone muted at this time, which is good, because when we say the pledge in just a few minutes, it is so funny. In our own club where we do hybrid, we have about 15 versions of the pledge going on at the same time. We don't have everybody on the same word. So you are going to help us with that. All right, and we are giving everybody just a couple of minutes of grace. We are expecting about 35 people, and 21 have been able to join us this morning. So congratulations to those who have successfully joined the Zoom. You found the Zoom link, you found the email. Good job. And a reminder to everyone, if you're going to a breakout room, put that breakout room in front of your name. I'm helping somebody do it right now. So if all of a sudden your name changes, that was me. Just to demonstrate that I can do it. Very good. People are changing. We are allowing, for those of you who are just now coming in, we're allowing just a couple of minutes for some people who will be coming in. And I am so happy to see everybody here. I have somebody named iPhone. So if you would share with me what you would like for your real name to be, if you can do it yourself, that's wonderful, but it's more difficult on a mobile device. Then we can let our Zoom master change you, or I can change you as well. I am so happy to see some familiar names and some new names that are coming in.
It's Rebecca Glaspie. I can't
Hi.
get anything to work on my iPhone today.
Good morning, Rebecca. I am so happy to see you. Well, not see you, but hear you. All right, Rebecca, which breakout session are you going to?
Secretary, please.
There you go, CJ. There's another victim. And I am changing now. All right, I think I got that changed for you. Welcome,
Sonia.
everyone. Yes, I heard somebody say.
Sonia and the and Zoom Master. During the breakouts, will we have the ability to share our screen?
Yes, you will.
Okay.
Look at Chris go all official. I was going to go, in theory, you have. I pushed the right button, but who knows what's really going to happen.
Excuse me, quick question. How do we put our position in our space?
Are you on a laptop?
Yes.
All right. When I'm on a laptop, I take my little cursor and put it on my own face, put it on my own picture. There are 3 little dots in the corner at the top right. I click those 3 little dots, and rename is one of those choices. And when I click that, it allows me to change my name and put my
Thank you.
right there. Look at us training people how to do things before we even officially get started.
Do you know how to get out of safe driving mode?
No.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm on safe driving mode at my own house, but okay.
I started to say, are you driving? I don't want you driving.
No, I'm sitting here.
You're sitting here. Well, you're just so active that your phone thinks that you're actually driving. Good morning, everyone. I would like to go ahead and start. We've waited just a couple of minutes for several people to come in. As you see, our Zoom master has shared the pledge. So the first thing we will do is say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please double check to be sure you are off of audio so that we can do our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Our district mission is we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. And I really like that mission. That just shows that we are supporting everybody. At this time, I would like to introduce our dignitaries. First, I would like to say my name is Sonia Van Hook. I am your Division B director, and that's why you get to listen to my voice as I try to do my best in leading this particular session. And also, we would like to thank Chris Goldman, who is serving as our Zoom master. Give Chris a hand. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. Couldn't do it without you. Are there any members of the trio? Now, remember, I can't see everybody who's on here on one screen. So if you are a member of the trio, I would appreciate it if you would raise your little virtual hand. When you raise your virtual hand, that makes you go to the top left of my screen, and then I will see you. I am looking for Jason, Jeff, or Kayla. If any of them sees those, remind them to raise their little hand. I do not see any of those. And some of those may join us a little bit later. If you are a previous member of our trio, would you raise your virtual hand? If your name is Ahmad Gilliam, there he is raising his hand. Thank you, Ahmad, for joining us today. We appreciate you so much. Those are our trio and former trio members. When I say the trio, that means the top three who have supported all of us, have supported our clubs and helped us and just really devoted their lives to Toastmasters for a year or 2 years. And sometimes we get a little bit more out of them. Thank you, Ahmad. Division directors, I am Division B. I don't believe we have C, D, or E here, but if you are, then I want to welcome you and ask you to raise your virtual hand so I can acknowledge you. If you are an area director, can you raise your virtual hand or your real hand? I can see some, yes, look at all these people raising their hands. Thank you so much, Mary Mixon, Area 21. Thank you so much, Sharon Burlingame, Area 20. Look at there, wonderful. And I did get a message from our another director that said he had a conflict today and sends his apologies that he cannot be here. What about our finance director, who is Joe Lawson? We want to appreciate him. I do not see him on the call, but thank you to him. Thank you to, let's see, Tracy says Area 43. Look at you coming all the way over from another district. Welcome. We are delighted to have you. Thank you, Tracy. And if there are any other area directors or anyone else I need to recognize, raise your little virtual hand so you'll pop up here at the top and I can see you. In the meantime, our wonderful Zoom master has been putting the agenda into the chat. If you pre-registered, you received an email yesterday with the agenda, so you should have a copy of it. And And if not, you should be able to look in the chat and be able to download that. And if anybody needs us to share it again, just put a message in the chat and we will be happy to do that. At this point, I would like to say some of you may have received, Mary says she pre-registered but never got an email. All right, Mary, we'll see if we can see what we can do about that.
I did too, and I didn't. I'm looking now and I don't see anything.
You don't see an email. All right. Well, the main thing about the agenda, the email, was to be sure you had the Zoom link, and both of you found us. So congratulations. Yes, you got the right Zoom link. Is that a fear just for me? I'm always afraid I'm going to join the wrong meeting, but that's just on me. Some of you may have received a reply message from our jot form that said this meeting was on Wednesday. Some of you may have received a reply from our jot form that said this meeting was in 2024. Obviously, I am not to be trusted in setting up a jot form. That I just want to hand that over to somebody else who can take that responsibility away from me. But we got you registered and we got you here, which was the main thing. Our keynote speaker for today is Mary Mixon. Mary is going to talk to us about contest. And so I am so excited about hearing what she is going to say about our contest, about why should we have them? Does it make us a better Toastmaster? Does it give us more examples? Mary, if you want to go ahead and begin sharing your screen. I want to tell you that she is an amazing Toastmaster. I first met Mary several years ago, and she was a division director. And she actually just, as a new Toastmaster, she took me under her wing and said, is there anything that I can do to help you? And I just felt so welcomed coming into Toastmasters. And Mary has been a big support to me personally for several years. Mary, would you tell us about speech contests?
Thank you so much, Sonia. I appreciate it. And welcome to everyone. And to Tracy from District 43, I'm a past District 43 member. So welcome to our district today. As you know, folks, I love speech contests. I love the process. I love that we have contestants, and I'm an overachiever in what I've got on the screen for you. The purpose is for you to have the slides to take away. We all have various levels of experience with speech contests. Some have never seen one. They're new to Toastmasters. Some mainly did the Zoom content during the COVID time. And like folks like me, we came from the paper era. We printed everything out. Well, guess what? We're back to the paper era. So we will talk about the processes just for the International Speech Contest and Table Topic today, because there are rules. There are other rules for the other contests. So we're just going to talk about those two today and this year's rules, because the rules change. Go ahead, Chris. What is the goal? Well, the contestant's goal is to clearly develop and present ideas in a substantially original speech. Very clear and succinct, isn't it? Right out of Toastmasters. Go ahead, Chris. The International Speech Contest, well, that's a 5 to 7 minute speech on a subject of the contestant's choosing. And the club winners proceed to the area. The area winners proceed to the division, and the division contest winners proceed to the district contest. Now, this international speech contest is the only contest that proceeds beyond the district to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the world champion of public speaking. That just is a mouthful and an amazing place to be in. And just know that Toastmasters pays for the travel, whether it's national or international, for the contestants to get to go to the quarterfinals and beyond at the Toastmaster International Convention. So that means they are actually paying if you go to France or a foreign country. They are actually paying for your travel. That's some good motivation to want to go. And yes, the club can, I don't want to miss this point. The clubs can have the options just to appoint a couple people to go forward to the area contest. They don't have to have a contest, but beyond the area, beyond the club level, there must be contests. But why not have a contest? Let's flip it, Chris, to the next one. This young lady, Joycelyn Tyson, was the 2023 World Champion of Public Speaking. She is on the cover of the contest rule book. And that may be you or one of your members someday on the front page. Isn't that neat? Get your face on the rule book that goes out throughout the world. Okay, Chris, let's go ahead. So I went back and I looked all the way back to 1986, but I've only highlighted 6 of these contestants. Who won? Who's been winning? Well, most of them look like they're from the United States here, but it is a variety of folks. And who will that cameo picture, will that be you or one of your club members? Of all the opportunities, they are competing against a potential of over 270,000 members. Now, we don't all compete. I don't compete. I know several people that don't, but that is the potential competition for the folks that compete in this contest. Over 150 countries and over 14,000 clubs. That is quite the odds, and congratulations to those that have their picture up there that have actually won. And I understand we are going to have one of these speakers at our conference in the spring. All right, let's go ahead, Chris. So what is the other contest? Well, it's the table topic contest, the 1 to 2 minute speech on a subject determined by the contest chair. All the contestants receive the same subject, and you may think, well, she's really getting deep into the weeds, but if I don't say it, I've been to a contest where it accidentally didn't happen that way, and we had to stop the contest and correct it. So better to say it up front. The subject of the table topic should be general in nature. No advance notice of the subject is shared with the contestant in advance. And the contestants actually leave the room prior to their turn to speak, and they can stay in the room after they've spoken. Okay. So who's eligible to compete? That's really important to know. So at the club level, they have to be a paid member. At the club, area, and division and district level, they have to stay a paid member. And the club must also be in good standing. And we're going to talk about that. And they have to maintain that eligibility at all the levels. So in particular for the international speech contest, they have to be a member who's earned a level 1 and 2 in a path or earned the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Now, the exception to all that is, and I hope we have some new clubs that are going to compete that have just chartered in less than a year before the contest. Those chartered members can compete without this requirement. So that's really great that they can jump in and start right off the bat and compete. Okay, go ahead, Chris. So what is a member in a club in good standing? Well, I'm flagging this because we have to talk about it every year. Make sure the members' dues are in by March 31st and the club's dues are in by March 31st. Red flag. Get their dues right now. Start collecting dues. Make sure your club has the contestants' dues paid, and the club needs to have 8 paid members, with at least 3 of whom were paid members of the club during the previous renewal period in order to be a club in good standing. So actually, it's critical that, considering what date it is in January, that we jump on this piece right away. Member dues. It's a shame if a member pays and a club officer doesn't put those dues into Toastmaster International on time. So please, please, please don't miss this one. Okay. Well, when are the contests for Division B? Well, the club should have their contest done at least by late February or early March. We know that Area 20 has posted March 8th as their contest. Area 21 and 22 are targeting March 15th. And Division B is April 5th. That's already scheduled. And we'll get details about where that'll be. And then District 63, the contestants will compete both, some of the contests are on the 25th and some are on the 26th. And how exciting that is for those contestants. We should be there at those contests to cheer them on. The rule of thumb is to have contests at least 2 weeks apart. Okay, Chris? Who can't compete? Well, there is an arm-long list of folks who can't compete on page 6 and 7 in the rule book. But district officers, area directors, Sonia can't compete this year. Anybody whose term is going to expire June 30th. Incumbent international officers and directors, if y'all are moving on to the international level or regional level, or any past district directors or candidates for the district positions elected by the district council for the term that's coming up in July. If you're going to be a district director or a division director in the upcoming term, you really cannot compete right now. Those serving as contest officials in the same contest in which they're competing. So if you're a contestant and you also want to be a judge, you can't do that, or a timer or anything. You cannot be a contest functionary official and compete. Now, this is critical. We've had a situation in the past where a member was going to compete and she had won and she was going to the next level, but she couldn't because she agreed to do a event committee chair for one of our conferences. And when she did that, she removed herself accidentally from the ability to compete. So if you're going to compete in the conference, if you're going to compete this year, don't sign up to be an event committee chair or do an educational session or be a contest chair or contest Toastmaster for our conference. That's really important that you not do that. All right, let's go ahead, Chris. Why do we have speech contests? Well, of course, the basic. It's important to our educational program. It gives us all the opportunity to gain speaking experience, to learn by watching those proficient speakers, and learn new skills by taking leadership and other roles in the contest. If you don't think there's a lot of strategy to being a leader in running a contest, let us help you with that. All right, Chris. The overall speech contest rules that apply across the board, they have to develop their own speeches. They can't sit down with somebody else and develop their speech. And then that 25% or less of a speech may be devoted to quoting, paraphrasing, or referencing another person's content. So I don't know how you figure that out, but it is a situation where somebody may recognize that a speech is really not coming from that person. The originality is not coming from that person, and may protest. And we'll talk about protests. If you quote or paraphrase anything, you need to identify it during the speech. So you might say, according to Jamie Bate, in her speech on such and such a day, she said blah, blah, blah. You know, you really need to identify who you're quoting. And contestants cannot refer to another contestant or their speech presented during their speech at the same contest in which they're competing. So if I look at, if I get up after Mary and I say, as Mary said, in her speech, I can't do that. That's something that can be contested and protested for originality. And if you're going to use props, they need to be set up. You need to demonstrate to the contest chair that you can set them up within 1 minute before your speech and that you can take them down just as quickly. It is not the contest chair's responsibility to help you to set up any props. You can have another person help you. Like I've heard of a contest where someone wanted some music played at a certain key point in their speech. And so they had a person on the side scheduled and ready to go to play that music for them. And that's okay. So just know that this is overall rules for any of the contests. If you have a question, it's okay to stop me. Just let us know, let your Sonia or Chris know, okay? The next one, Chris. The goal for those conducting contests, they're a team and they need to work as a team. So the overall goal, you've probably heard me say it 100 times, to provide a well-run speech contest so the contestants can enjoy their experience of sharing and preparing a prepared or impromptu speech in this competitive setting. They're already nervous as it is. Let's make it as enjoyable as possible. It's up to all of us to do that for them. So let's make it a fun contest. I know Sonia did for that division contest. Thank you for doing that. That was awesome. The contest team, which you're going to get together, can achieve this goal by you need to have clear role definitions, who's doing what, and time expectations. When is it due? When are you going to meet again? When are you going to check off the boxes? And communicate well with the contestants, the contest team, and the guests. What do I mean when I say communicate with the contestants? Well, they need to know all the detail about the contest, the when and the where as soon as possible. The contest team needs to stay on top of all the goals and what's to be done. And the guests need to know they can't come in late. They can't so empty their bladder before they get in there, because they can't walk out while they're counting ballots out in the lobby or wherever. They can't walk out during that time. They need to know the rule. Turn off their cell phones, put them on mute or turn them off. So help the guests to enjoy their experience and not be distracted as well. Prepare in advance. You have the opportunity to print off all the forms to get them ready in advance. There's no reason not to. Practice is so critical. I love when a group gets together, runs through the script, runs through the whole scene to make sure the contest is going to flow well and questions can be asked in advance. And have backup plans. If your contestants or your judges haven't signed their eligibility form and you come with only one extra, that's not going to get it. You know they're going to have to fill them out when they arrive. So please have extra forms and have backup plans for all the aspects of the planning. All right, Chris. Who's involved? Well, the VPE is responsible for the club contest, the area directors for the area, the division directors responsible for coordinating, planning the division, and the program quality director for the district. And they have a team, of course, and the roles are contestant, judges, ballot counters, timers, sergeant at arms, contest chair, chief judge, and a Zoom master at the club level only. At that level, we can do it they can compete on Zoom, but no, not beyond the club level. Okay, Chris? Am I going too slow? All right, go to the next one for me. Oh, I'm sorry, you are there. Contest chair, what do they do? Well, in my mind, they focus on the overall contest and the contestants. They need to, yes, it does take a village. Yes. They need to prepare the contest agenda. They need to obtain the contestant paperwork, get those eligibility and originality forms and profile forms done and collected before the contest. You don't want to be running the day of the contest trying to make sure they've gotten their forms done. Provide the contestant their briefing and speaking order and obtain their speech titles. That's so critical. We need to have their speech titles written in your manuscript, your script ready to go so that you're not fumbling looking for the speech titles for the international contest. And have your table topic question thought out in advance. Have it written someplace and hidden away, but where you can find it easily. And you need the contest chair, of course, will run the contest or assign a contest Toastmaster to do that and handle any protests along with the chief judge. And they can announce the winner, excuse me, at the division level. I like for the division director to announce the contest winners and going forward, but it's really up to the division director what she wants to do or he wants to do. And then you're not done. You have to complete that notification of contest winner form for the next level contestant. Okay, Chris. And then the chief judge, focus on those contest functionary, the judges, ballot counters, timers, and sergeant at arms. Find eligible Toastmaster for these roles, and we'll talk about eligibility, and brief them on their role. Obtain the eligibility forms from them and provide them with the rule book, and really encourage them to read the rule book. Prepare their forms and envelopes for them and bring them to the contest. And I always check and double check because I'm going to leave something out, and then I have extra copies just in case. And oversee the tallying of the judges' scores with the ballot counters and provide the contest chair with the results and along with their certificates for first, second, and third place. So you're actually going to take those back with you in the counting room and fill out the name who won. And a lot of people don't realize, well, I have this tiebreaker judge ballot. What do I do with it? And I've been in the situation when I was a new Toastmaster where no one told us what to do with it. Well, if you have two that tie, then you open the tiebreakers ballot. You don't open it unless you need it. And if whoever they rated as higher is the person that'll get that level award. You're not looking at everybody they scored. You're looking at the two that tied. And of course, handling any protests along with the contest chair. And we'll talk about protests a little bit as well. Go ahead. So the judges' eligibility, the next one. Chris, can you forward it? There. Okay, judges have to be a paid member at the club level. At the area, division, and district level, they must be paid for at least 6 months, complete 6 speeches in that old competent communication manual, or completed a level 1 and 2 in any path, and be physically present at the contest. At the division level only, let's see. So what I haven't put on here, but it's really critical, at the division level and district level only, the chief judge, judges, and tiebreaker judge cannot be from the same club as a contestant. And I remember when I came up here and we had one gentleman that competed in multiple clubs from multiple clubs. He belonged to multiple clubs. Let me say that straight. And so we had to find out what clubs he was in, and if we had any folks from his club, they couldn't be judges for the division or district level contests because he loved to compete, but he belonged to so many clubs. It was really a challenge for us. But it's critical that at the division and district level, you don't get anybody who belongs to the same club as a contestant. Okay. Sorry, I tore that one up. The contest judges, how many do you need? Well, you need one chief judge for every contest, one tiebreaker, but at the club level, you need 5 if practical. You need 5 at the area or equal from each club. At the division, you need 7. So see, it's more of a challenge. You can't have anybody from a club where the contestant belongs, but you have to have more judges. So you reach out to your fellow divisions and try and get some help if possible, or and see if they can help you out. And then district is 7 or equal number from each division. So that's just kind of the overall rule for numbers. Okay, Chris. Our timers, ballot counters, and sergeant at arms. Well, we have 2 timers, 2 ballot counters, and 1 to 2 sergeant at arms, depending upon your layout or how far they have to walk to get out of the room, the contestants. And the requirement is they have to be a Toastmaster in good standing and be briefed on their roles. So with timers, I've always had that discussion with folks. 1 keeps the time and 1 writes down, 1 keeps the time device and writes down the time. And then the other one is flipping the colors, the cards. I think we have a question out there. So let me see. Should I go ahead and look? What are the dates again for the contest, and can you go over the tie-breaking situation?
Yes, this is Denise. You can tell me in the end.
Okay, Denise, I
Okay.
sure will. Thank you so much. I do want to make sure you have a good understanding of that, Denise. Thank you. It's better to unmute and talk to me than do the little chat thing. So that's fine. So let's see. The timers. So I was saying the timers, one actually records the time and the other is actually flipping the colors. It's nice if they sit together and look at the same timing device, but have a backup timing device available. So just in case yours fails. And if it fails, they get 30 seconds extra. The contestant does while you're fiddling with your device. Ballot counters collect the judges' ballots and count the results. And sergeant at arms stay with the contestants outside of the room and bring them in 1 at a time as directed to for the table topic contest. For the international, they just stay by the door and make sure folks don't come in to the contest. Okay, let's go to the next page. The Toastmaster International website is a great resource. I don't know if you have looked on that site, but there are tutorials that are wonderful. Judge's guide and ballot, overview and roles, and when you're the judge. If you haven't looked at those, they're very quick, very clean, and very helpful. Of course, you want your speech contest rule book. That is your rule of thumb. Please have your speech contest rule book and have read it. There will be questions. You always will have questions. You want to be ready with those for those. And area and division director training session 4 is on the TI website, conducting quality speech contests. It's good material. I also feel comfortable asking other Toastmasters who've had experience with contests for their feedback on a question I may have. But if I'm not sure about what I'm hearing, oh, there goes my slide. It's important for you to check the rule book. If it's not in the rule book, it's not a rule. So that's clear and plain and simple. If someone says, oh, you have to do this, and you question that, look in the rule book. And if it's not there, it's not a rule. It's something that somebody adapted to their situation. Contest scripts, I have those available. I've given them to Sonia and the area directors and my club presidents. But if you need that contest script, what I do every year is I take the contest script from the last year and I get out the new rule book and I compare and update the contest script. It's really important that you know that it's July 1 through June 30th. So it's 24 to 25. And after July, on July 1 of 2025, I'm going to throw away that rule book and get the new one out and update my scripts again. So it's really critical that we use scripts. Okay. You don't have to, it's not required, but it helps a lot to make the contest go quickly. Let me just say that it's not required, or Toastmasters International would have made a script, but it really helps the contest to go smoothly. Okay, Chris. I did some sticky notes to self, just some good information for you. So contest awards can't have the Toastmaster logo or name on it if you didn't buy them from Toastmasters International. So what I do is I get them locally because they're less expensive, and I just put speech contest first place or whatever wording you want, but don't put the word Toastmaster or the logo on it if you don't buy it from Toastmaster International. Judges should be anonymous and not sit next to the contestants. And there are different ways to handle that. Explain to each contest judge that they are selecting a winner, not evaluating a speech. It's so easy for them to fall into that other mode because they do it at every meeting, but they need to select a winner. That's the point of the contest. And you may have to help talk them through that and avoid biases. And one of those programs on the TI website, the resources, the tutorial really helps with talk about biases. You know, you feel sad for the underdog. Oh, he hasn't ever won. Let's let him win. No, it's who did best on that day in meeting the goals that they should meet. And contestants can only Zoom in at a club level to compete. And this year, and every year it's decided, but this year District 63 leaders said the first and second place winners go forward to the area contest if there are 4 or less clubs in good standing in the area, and that applies all the way up to the district level. So that is the first and second place winners going forward if you have 4 or less clubs in good standing in that area and up above. So that's really important that we know that that's decided by the trio, by the district leader every year. Okay. And it may be different next year. All right. I have a pop quiz for you. All right. What 2 groups are the only folks who can file a protest against a contestant speech? All right. Open your mic and speak up.
Judges are one of
is
them.
one group.
Right.
And the contestant?
That's right. Yay. I wish I had candy to toss. Yes, contestants and judges. What do you do if a judge does not sign and print their name on their ballot?
You
Toss it.
can't count it.
Toss it. Toss it. You cannot count it. All right. What does the contest chair do if a contestant arrives after the contest chair has been introduced and the contest starts?
Contestant is disqualified.
That's correct. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. How does the tiebreaker judge get briefed on the contest?
They get their own briefing.
That's right.
They're
They cannot,
private.
That's right. They can't sit in with the others. Thank you, Sonia.
I'm working on my piece of candy, Mary.
You are. I might need to make you a cake. That's great. Okay, can judges and timers give contestants feedback and tell them how they were scored after the contest?
No, they can't.
Oh,
Never, ever. They're sworn to secrecy for the rest of their life. So if somebody comes up, a contestant comes up after and they say, well, how did I rank? And you say, or what did you think about my speech? Actually, that's what they may say. You say, would you mind asking another person, just kind of move them on. Can timers signal to the contestants that they've gone overtime?
No,
No, Sharon's got that head shaking. If a speech contest is 5 to 7 minutes, what's the disqualifying time?
7 minutes and 30 seconds.
30
7:30.
seconds.
Okay, less than, if they speak less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and if they go all the way to 7 minutes and 31 seconds, they'll be
31.
disqualified. You
Big
don't
minute.
count part of a minute. So if it's 7:30 and it hasn't gotten to 7:31 yet,
Then
you're
it's
right
okay.
there. It's okay. But when it hits 7:31, that's it. So that's different than it was in the past. So that's why I say that they didn't talk about parts of a minute in the past. Were the judges, ballot counters, and timer? Oh, where are the judges, ballot counter, timer forms located?
On the website.
On the website. And if you're like me, you have a box in your closet. And it is full of forms from last year, the year before, and the year before, because we don't want to throw paper out. But guess what? They change those forms and they have a new date at the bottom. They don't change all of them, but they change several. So it's important for you to look before you copy and circulate your old box of forms, because I've had an eye-opening experience when I got back this year into helping and with contests and saw my forms were way out of date. And so it's important for you to make sure you have the correct forms, and there are additional forms that come out during the year. So make sure you're looking at the contest packet and you have the whole picture, not just what you used to have, which was great back then, but okay. So what we didn't talk about was protests. And so if someone says, a contestant or a judge says I would encourage a judge to write it on their ballot. That you're having you want to make a protest about a contestant, a speech, maybe it's more than 25%, or they didn't quote, or they quoted one of the other speakers, or they didn't say their source for the quoting. I would encourage the judges to put it on their ballot, and then it can be addressed by the chief judge, the contest chair, and the judges. And that decision is final once they've talked about it. You would stop the contest and have the discussion before you proceeded any further. And if the contestants want to make a protest, they need to reach out to the contest chair or the chief judge and let them know, and then it would be handled at that point. I haven't had that happen, but I know it could happen. So, okay, is there any other, there were some questions left. The dates again for Division B, the club should be done by club level by the end of February or beginning of March. March 8th for Area 20, March 15th for 21-22, Division B April 5th, and District 63 is the 25th and the 26th. What other questions do you have?
This is Denise again.
Okay.
My question is about getting feedback. I understand not getting feedback from the judges.
Right.
But if you don't get some kind of feedback, then you really don't know where your deficiencies or your challenges are. You will keep doing the same thing over and over. So who's there to say to you if you want to know
Yes,
in that room?
anyone else except the contest function areas, which is the judges and the chief judge and the contest chair and the timers. Those folks should be mostly the ones that don't give any feedback. Okay. So it's
Right. Wait a minute. I understand that. But what I'm really trying to get to, everybody in the room may not be good at distinguishing a good speech
uh-huh.
because there you have spectators there. So who's in the line of audience member that you could go to say, I thought I did really great, but apparently, I didn't. What were the loopholes? I don't think everyone is qualified to tell you.
Right, they're not. And if you want feedback, I would bring my fellow Toastmaster that I want feedback from.
Okay.
My other
Okay.
club member, my other um, somebody from the club that's not taking one of those roles.
Okay.
Absolutely. We all want
Okay.
feedback. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. It's a lot of material that I think they'll share the slides with you if you want. So you can just have that as a quick reference. Sonia, can you do that with them in some forum?
I can,
Absolutely. And I
I can
believe
share that in the
Sharon
chat
has
if
a
you want.
question.
Yeah, my question is, has anybody on this call been in a room where they've been discussing artificial intelligence? If someone believes that a speech was written by an AI bot, and anybody having any discussions that they've been in on?
Wow, no, that's a good question.
I think we need training on that kind of thing. It's new idea, and I don't know who can really identify if it's AI generated or not. So it would help separate from contests to have that kind of training. Yeah, Denise, go ahead.
I don't know everything about AI, but AI really depends upon the prompts that you give it. You still have to deliver it.
Yeah.
So that's why even colleges allow you to use AI, because if you don't know how to prompt properly, then you can get something that would be equivalent to what a fifth grader would do versus someone else. So again, I think to me, the speeches are about your delivery. You still have to understand your subject matter. This is an opinion. And
I bet
Let's
we'll
give
be hearing
Mary,
more.
let's give
Yeah.
Mary a big round of
Oh,
applause for a
thank you.
wonderful presentation.
Yeah.
Thank
She
you.
is our contest guru, and I appreciate everything that she has shared with us. Thank you so much, Mary. Our next presentation will begin at 10 o'clock. So I wanted to give you, our 10-minute break is cut down to 5 minutes. So you have 5 minutes to run, refill that coffee or do what you need to do. And our next presentation will begin in 10 minutes. Chris, I'm going to ask you to, I'm sorry, 5 minutes. I said 10. That's what my script said, 5. Chris, I'm going to ask you to do a little mic check with me in just a moment and pause the recording while we do the mic check. I suppose we should talk so people wonder if their sound has cut out. So if anybody would like to say anything, oh, I think Jason joined us. Jason, do you want to say hi, at least to me and to anybody else?
Sure. It's good to see you all this morning. I'm hoping you all are doing better than me. It's I've had the flu this week, but it's good to see everybody, and thank you for holding the training, and thank you for all the volunteers being here this morning. Saturdays are always something else, but I've enjoyed the sessions, and you know, it's good, very good quality training. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate you.
Jason, I'm so sorry to hear that you have been sick. And you do sound a little rough from somebody who's heard your voice multiple times. I can tell you're a little bit under the weather. So
Yeah, probably too many times as of late, but thank you.
Kimberly,
Sonia, before we get started,
yeah,
I just go ahead and I put Mary's slides in the chat, in the meeting chat.
thank you. Yes, Chris, I will not be able to see chat while I'm sharing screen. So if anything comes up that says they can't hear the sound or something, I'll ask you to address that. Kimberly has her hand up during our break. Kimberly?
Hi, I have a very novice question. The timing, less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds or greater than 7 minutes and 30 seconds during our club meetings, when someone doesn't fall within those times, how do we just mention that in the evaluation, but they're still able to move forward to the next pathway part?
All right, your chief judge, before the judges go count the votes, the chief judge will ask the timers to give them the timer's report. When we did it online, the chief judge asked for them to communicate via chat, but now we can actually hand the timer's judge to them. And then when they make the announcements, the chief judge is supposed to say there was one time qualification. We don't say who it was, but it's usually pretty obvious. But there was one time qualification. And if they are disqualified at club level, area level, or whatever, they do not get to go to the next level. So that timing, they take that very seriously.
So even on the club level, when you're just working your way through the pathways, you don't advance until you master that speech. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's two different things. If you're working on pathways, that's your own individual education thing, and there's no penalty in pathways. But if you're in competition and
Right.
you want to advance to the next level of competition, that's where you get disqualified.
I understand. Okay. Thank you.
All right, I have that our break time is over, and we will proceed to our next session. Thank you so much for everybody who has shared so far. The next topic is building club membership, and I think everybody needs to listen to this presentation, because if there's one reoccurring issue that I hear, it's how do we get more members and retain more members. So building club membership. In the number of years with Toastmasters and in district leadership, Ahmad Gilliam has picked up some helpful information in regards to building up membership in Toastmasters. Ahmad will share his insights in his presentation entitled Building Club Membership. Please welcome Ahmad.
Thank you, Sonia, fellow Toastmasters officers, and any guests in the audience. Membership building within the Toastmasters organization is crucial to the life of the organization. We have to constantly look to add members to each one of our individual clubs in order to sustain the growth that we need to do on a yearly, daily basis. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you some insights that I have received and gathered over the course of the years and years that I've had with Toastmasters and with the district leadership experience and training that I've also received as well, and share with you insights that I believe will help you to take you to that next level if you are not doing or looking into these different avenues of membership building. So let me share my screen and we will get started. And let me start the presentation. So this is going to walk you through membership building within your individual clubs. So what I'm going to share with you within this presentation is, one, why should you recruit new members? Where are those new members? What are they looking for? How to get those new members? And then some final tips and takeaways from this presentation. So why should you look for new members? Was all of us know every Toastmasters club, if they are even at 80 members or less, or even 8 members or more, each one of those clubs are going to experience at some point in time a membership loss for various reasons. And we know most of those reasons are there could be a conflict issue, either a time conflict or some other conflict that member has that they have to leave the club. They could be relocating. Now, most of the time with the clubs that are now either hybrid or online, relocation is not much of a problem, but relocation still is an issue for some clubs that if a person is relocating out of state, they may be looking for another club that is closer to the area that they're relocating to. Some sort of life-altering, changing event, either a job loss, death in the family, or something like that they have to change priorities that might result in them having to step away from Toastmasters or go to a different Toastmasters club in health. And that's just something that happens from time to time, that maybe somebody might fall ill. They may have to be out of Toastmasters for a certain period of time. But that also could affect membership. Each club has to look to gain those new members, because if something happens to one member, you don't want to have the status of your membership with the club then be in question. And then you have to go into panic mode or rush mode to try to gain a new member to offset the one that you lost for whatever various reasons. And then on top of that, not only do we want to get new members because we might lose members in the future, but new members gives us a new perspective on what's going on with the club that we might be able to look at to be more efficient. Maybe new ideas for the agenda to maybe freshen it up. New perspectives on leadership ideas, getting new members, advertising the club. New members can give us that perspective that we might not already have because they look at things differently than what we might look at. So that is another crucial reason why we need new members in the clubs. So then you might be asking, okay, well, we need new members. How do we get them? Where are they at? Now, I'm going to take this from 2 different avenues. First, I'm going to show you how you can get new members from community clubs, and then I'm going to show you from the corporate end some ideas. Here's some options that you might be able to use to look at and to recruit those members from different organizations. Now, the organizations you can look at is your local chamber of commerce. They often look for presentations to build up the members within the chamber so that they can do presentations internally within themselves. Rotary clubs, banks, credit unions, financial institutions, they have to sell loans and things of that nature to their clientele. So they're going to want training on sales approaches, or not sales approaches, but training to help build their sales departments to go out there and sell to the community. Lodges, YMCAs, VFWs, churches, because pastors have to give sermons to their congregations. So they might want to be trained on giving presentations to their congregations. City halls, community centers, libraries, colleges and universities. You might see that the speech departments are looking into having people coming from the outside to help with their students, to help build up their presentation skill sets, to be able to practice their skill sets outside of the classroom. Local schools, mainly for the faculty, because the students are going to be 18 and under, and that's going to be going through a different path. But for the faculty, the teachers specifically, and the principals and things of that nature, they're going to want to help build on their communication and their leadership skills to be more effective with the students that they are overseeing. Museum and theaters, because most of them have to give some sort of tour for the community, that they want to be more effective in conveying whatever the message is that they are wanting to get across. Local tour companies like bus, trolley, buggies, because of that same reason. Local realtors, they're going to have to sell houses. And they're going to have to sell why they should be looked upon to be hired to sell someone's house or to help someone buy a house. So that's why they need to help or be helped as far as developing their communication skill sets. News stations, as we all see, the news has to be delivered every single day of the week. So those newscasters and those reporters are going to want to build up their communication skill set. Insurance agencies, obviously, they have to sell insurance. Hospitals, doctors, and medical offices, they see the public on a regular basis. And if you go to, like, for instance, a surgeon, if that surgeon has struggles with communicating to their patients, you're going to doubt the certainty of how good of a surgeon they are. So they're going to want to be confident to come across to their patients why they are the best at what they're doing. And then obviously law enforcement, because they also have to deal with the community. So all of these different organizations need some sort of either leadership training or communications training that they might be interested in, coming from that perspective of that you can help them out with that training portion of it. Now, that's from the community portion of it. The corporate clubs are more of an internal type of recruiting. So these are some ideas that you can look at to either, if you want to start a corporate club, and if you want to start a corporate club, look to District 63 CGD, which is Kayla Works. Her and her team can help you and give you additional resources to get it started. But if you're wanting to look to start a corporate club or are interested in building up your corporate club, here's some ideas to do that. One, talk to your HR or leadership team about what Toastmasters can do. Now, this is sometimes can be helpful if you show them what Toastmasters has done personally for you within the workplace, so that they can see what that return on investment would be by expanding it out to the other employees within the organization. See if you can present or have packets given to new hires. New hires within companies, they are wanting to not only get where their training is as far as the position that they're being hired, they're in the future looking to advance within the organization. So they're going to want to know avenues to develop the skill set to make them better so that they can then take that advancement opportunity to the next level. Advertise to either your HR or leadership team that Toastmasters is a laboratory for developing whatever the skill set they want to see within the employees within the company. Now, you may have not heard Toastmasters being used as the term of laboratory, but this is the reason why, is because most companies, if they hear the word Toastmasters Club, they're going to immediately shut down anything else that you say after that, because they see a club is not benefiting them, it's benefiting someone outside of their organization. So when you come to them as this is a laboratory opportunity to develop that skill set that you all want to develop, they're going to look at it as, okay, we can use this to help our employees practice whatever the skill set is. Let's say if it's presentation skills, we can direct our employees to come to this club or to this body of Toastmasters to help them with developing that presentation skill set to make them more better presenters to the organization going forward. So they can then see this is a practice opportunity to help them build their skill set versus they have to build the skill set on the live floor. So that if they make mistakes, they can do it in the practice setting, but then they don't make the mistakes in the live setting, if that makes sense. That's the reason why most companies, if they hear the word laboratory, their ears perk up, is to hear, I have an opportunity to let them practice the skill set versus they have to get the skill set down while they're on the job live at that point. And then offer to be able to listen to presentations from other people within the organization so that you can provide them feedback before the event occurs. Because most of the time, these presentations are either being practiced within the group or they're being practiced the first time during the live event. And they may not realize that there's a certain portion that they might be using a certain crutch word 20 times over. They might be saying a lot during the presentation, or they might actually be trying to convey a point, but their information is sort of skewing the point to a different direction that they didn't realize. That feedback would be crucial for them to tweak that presentation a little bit so that it is more effective when they are giving the event, and they may take you up on that opportunity. So use these as different options within the company, because then the company will see that this is an asset to send our employees to make them better, but also make them more qualified to advance them up through the ladder so that we can use this as the development opportunity for our company. You may then now be asking, well, what are they looking for? Well, individuals for the most part are looking for just, these are primarily the top four, but they may be looking for others, but these are the primary four. They're going to look to prepare themselves for job advancement. Most people, when they're getting into the workforce, either if they're starting in the workforce or if they're making their way through the workforce, they don't want to stay in the same position from day one to when they retire. They want to advance and they want to make sure that they're ready for any possible advancement opportunities. So they're going to prepare themselves and get them ready for that advancement. They want to refine whatever skill set that they have. If they are great presenters, they want to be the best at presenting. If they're great leaders, they want to be the greatest leader that they can be. Or they might actually be trying to develop a new skill set. There might be someone who is brand new to the workforce that wants to be more extroverted versus introverted. There might be somebody that has been told they're not that great of a listener. They want to become a better listener. They may be trying to develop a new skill set for the very first time and they don't know how to develop that skill set. Or they could just be moving from a different community and they want to find somewhere to belong to in this community. So they'll look for Toastmasters to help them with that and to get involved with another group versus the group that they relocated from that they no longer belong to because they're out of state. So that's what individuals for the most part are looking for. What are companies and organizations looking for? Primarily, one, they want to develop their workforce. They don't want, for the most part, to hire someone from outside to get them people to add to their workforce. They want to, for the most part, develop the workforce within so that they can promote them from within so they don't have to go outside so much to hire new people to take on positions that they are looking for. They are looking for a return on investment. Any dollar that they spend, they want to make sure that they are getting their bang for their buck for every single dollar. So if they spend to build a Toastmasters club or to add members to the club to develop their skill set, they want to make sure that they are exactly getting their bang for the buck for every dollar that they're spending. And if they want a club within their organization or within their company, they want to make sure that this is shaped exactly what they need for what their vision and needs are. They're not going to want to be told that it is a cookie cutter, that is a star cookie, and it has to be a star cookie every single day of the week. They want to know that here's the outline, we can fill in the gaps, and we can make this what we need to make this. If we want to make this a training opportunity to train our managers to become better managers, we can use the club to do that. If we want to train the sales department to become better sellers, we can use the club to do that. They want to see the flexibility of the program and to see that it's a minimal investment to get a high rate of return out of it. So how then do you get those new members? Okay, you want to reach out to either individuals you know within your company, within the group you're in, your family, or you can reach out to organizations that you know, companies that are around you. Find out what their needs are. The one mistake I have seen in the past is people will reach out to organizations and advertise the club. And like I said before, if they hear the words club, they think you're wanting to recruit people to help you out. They're going to ignore everything else. Find out what their needs are. If they're wanting to help develop their sales department to become better sellers, there are paths and pathways that they can help them be better sellers. There could be organizations out there that want their members to be better presenters. There's presentations in pathways to help people become better presenters. Pathways has every tool at the disposal to help any company, any organization, any individual excel at whatever the skill sets they need to excel at. So advertise that. Then the members will come to the club, because then they will see, oh, I can get out of Pathways this. Let me go to the club so I can get access to Pathways and develop that portion of it. So each and every person, organization, company, they have a vision, but they need to know how to get there and what avenue they need to get there to achieve that vision. So for instance, if someone's wanting to get themselves ready for the future promotion, you can show them opportunities within Pathways or leadership within the club or district to help develop that skill set that they're looking for. Or if an organization is wanting to develop their members' presentation skills, you can show them what Pathways has to offer to train them, or even use a Speechcraft program to show them without saying the word Speechcraft, because you want to be careful about using Toastmasters jargon. So just show them the program and they will then see the benefit to going through it from start to finish. The crucial thing that you're doing in order to get these new members is because most new members in the past have reached out to the clubs. This is a new shift that you still have that opportunity to reach out to them via your social media channels, your websites, things of that nature. But this is the opportunity to reach out to them and find those members. So you want to build relationships and develop an open dialogue with these companies so that if they need training, they can come to you for it. If they need development on some sort of either presentations, organizational skills, they can come to you for that. And if they need to offer, and that person wants further development, once they see you at the club and once they are done with the training, they may then at that point join the club because they want to take that development to the next level. So that's how another avenue that you can gain new members is by developing this relationship. And by doing this relationship and developing this relationship, that opens the opportunities to add new members. I've seen this happen with universities that certain clubs have a relationship with a speech department, and the speech department sends students over to them to practice their presentation skills through either a Speechcraft or through the regular club meeting. And by them starting that relationship, every semester students are sent over, and some of those students stay with the clubs. Now, some of them may relocate, but they'll find new clubs then to be involved with to develop it, their skill set at that point. But it's a relationship building so that they trust you, that you can help them in getting from point A to point B. And by them seeing that they can trust you in that, they will come to you every single time that they need help, because they know that you will be there to help them versus you will be there to try to add members to your club. And this technically will then add members to your club indirectly, but the focus is on them versus the focus is on the membership with the club. So some tips and takeaways with this. The crucial part of this is messaging and listening. You want to listen to their needs and stress the Toastmasters program flexibility. And what I mean by the Toastmasters program flexibility, Pathways is set as far as what the paths can do and as far as the evaluations, things of that nature. That is set. Okay, there's no real flexibility with that. But as far as the actual Toastmasters agenda, there is no one way that the Toastmasters agenda is done. Each club does the Toastmasters agenda a little bit differently. Some clubs start with table topics first, then go into speeches and then evaluations. Some of them do speeches first, table topics second, evaluations third. Some of them have added positions to the roles. Some of them have taken positions out of the roles and have trimmed it down to like only 6 positions. Each club does it differently because the Toastmasters program is flexible. You want to share the flexibility rather than it's rigid. It can only be done this way, because organizations, if they see that a program does not offer them flexibility to mold it around their vision, they will shut it down immediately. So you want to share with them the flexibility that the program has. As far as club quality goes, you want to make sure that guests, when they come into your meeting for the very first time, I was one of them, they are terrified about presenting. They do not like the idea of having to present to strangers for the very first time. So you want to make sure that when you show your agendas, on top of their terror, if they see multiple people doing multiple roles on the agenda, they're going to be terrified that you're going to ask them to do the exact same thing. And with them being terrified with presenting, if they have to focus on multiple things, they're immediately going to walk away thinking that not only do they got to get over this terror, they're going to also have to focus on multiple roles on the agenda they have no idea how to handle. So be sure that when you are having your agenda finalized, that you've got one person focused on each portion of the agenda so that it doesn't add to the anxiety that they've already got when they come in through the door. And then remember moments of truth. This is a document that I use countless number of times to make sure that each club that I'm in, what are we doing well? What do we need to work on? And that's what the moments of truth will do, is it will give you an assessment of exactly what's going on with your club, what you're doing extremely well, and the focal points that you need to work on to take your club quality to the next level. So use that as a leverage point as well as a map on how to get to exactly where you want to go. Communicate laboratory and not club. And like I was saying before, if organizations and companies hear the word laboratory, they will understand and they will know that we can use this to develop the skill set that our employees need, versus if they hear the word club, they're going to think of someone outside the organization is just focused on their club. So stress the importance of the development and the opportunity for them to use the bang for their buck to get exactly where they want to go. And if they hear that, they will be on the board most of the time. And like I was saying before, develop those relationships. The dialogue back and forth will provide the best opportunity to you to get guests. Because if they trust that they can put the employees in your hands and you will train them and get them exactly where they need to go, they will continue to trust you going forward in the future. So I promise you, if you follow these steps that I've outlined in this presentation, which I will send this presentation to Sonia after this training, not only will your club attract guests, and I'm confident that you can convert them over from guests to members, but it will open your horizons to new relationships and new collaborations outside of your club that will continue to develop and add new members to your club over time for years to come. Sonia?
Thank you so much, Ahmad. We appreciate your expertise in this area and all the information you've given us. You may have seen me reaching for my phone. I was taking pictures of some of these slides that he was saying, because for our club, I'm always looking for new avenues or new streams of people that we can invite. And I found some in Ahmad's presentation, even after being a Toastmaster all these years. And now he's going to take questions. So I hope you have some wonderful questions and comments for Ahmad at this time. I can just read some of these comments over here in the chat. The term laboratory is great advice, not to use the word club. Fabulous presentation, Ahmad, from the VPPR. You have given me some wonderful ideas to share. Thank you, Tracy, from Stealing from Division B. Just kidding. All right, Sharon, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, Ahmad or anyone else in on the training here. I would appreciate if somebody has a template where they've already done a PR, not the Toastmasters general PR, but that in this area where you've done some kind of a letter or flyer that you hand out, that would be really great, because then I'm not starting from scratch. And I think other people might appreciate that as well. And maybe if it's something that we could put on the division or the District 63 website, then everybody could just get it from the same place.
Okay, I'd like to address that. Toastmasters has put out some forms, and we've probably all seen those. They're very wordy. If you're just walking by, you have to stop and really concentrate. Very wordy, lots of information on them. A couple of years ago, the district actually had a committee, a marketing committee, and developed what we call the Who Me series. There's a flyer specifically addressed to someone who has to give a presentation, and maybe they're very nervous about that. These are published on the District 63 website under the downloads, the public downloads, and there's a section called VPPR, and those have already been created by professional marketers. They have a very large picture and just a few words on purpose. The design of those particular series of flyers is so if you're just walking by and you see the word "Who Me," you think, well, has somebody asked me to do this particular thing? And you think, who, me? You want me to do that? That was the purpose of those particular flyers. Those are available for anybody to download. And at the bottom, there's a gray box. The gray box is designed so you can put your own club information. We meet at such day, such time. If you hybrid, you want to put your Zoom link, that's what those are for. Ahmad, can you see the chat? That looks like there's a couple more questions coming in. Oh, thank you. Chris put in the Who Me flyers.
Let's see. Yeah, because Kimberly, I'll get the presentation over to Sonia after this, and then Sonia, since you got the contact of who was on here, you can disperse the presentation out to everyone.
Okay.
I'm just going to publish it on the District 60. I'm going to publish on the District 63 website so everybody
Sure.
can see the presentation.
Thank you.
Sure. And like I said, if you got anything specific that you want someone else to come with you, if you're presenting this to your company, talk to Kayla. She's got a great team, and they can also help in that avenue as well if you need additional support in that avenue. But I didn't know if anybody else had any other questions. I was checking through chat, and I just want to make sure I got everything else covered. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Ahmad, great presentation. Thank you for that. I guess I've got the question from a VPM standpoint, and hopefully Mary will address it in the breakout session, but it would be interesting to get your perspective as well. So from the standpoint of having guests, right? And we our club is blessed with a good stream of guests who come in, and I'm a BPM myself, and I follow up with them about trying to convert them from a guest to a member.
Right.
But it's kind of I've kind of gone back and forth whether or not when like how to follow up with them and how to send them the membership application if I do that straight away, after the first guest appearance, or what's the best way to do that from your perspective?
Right. It doesn't hurt whenever you have a new guest that shows up that you give them. Most of the clubs have a guest packet that has a membership application in it, or they even have a virtual version of the packet. It doesn't hurt to provide them and give them information to leave with. That way they've got something tangible to hold on to once they leave the club meeting. There is no issues or anything with that. I think that's actually helped out a lot more versus they leave the meeting without an application and then they forget about that meeting a week later, 2 weeks later. That's something tangible that they can hold on to. As far as the follow-up goes, that you sort of have to get a gauge with that person individually, because some people like having a follow-up immediately the next day just to see how they enjoyed the meeting. Is there any other questions that they have? Everyone, if you follow up with them within 24 to 48 hours, they'll have no problem with that. I have seen it where there's been some instances where someone will consistently follow up more frequently after that, and then the guest sort of feels like they're pressured to join the club. You want to you sort of have to ride a fine line or on the fence that you want them to feel wanted, but you don't want them to feel pressured and backed into a corner to join the club. So you have to sort of, and you'll know that when you interact with them, that if they start sounding pressured, they're going to give you indicators that you need to sort of back off a little bit. Let me make the decision versus, okay, ask me in a week and just follow up with me in a week so I don't forget. So it's more of just that open communication, keeping it open with the guest, and don't let them feel like that they fall into a black hole where no one's contacting me at all, but don't make them feel like that you're just literally over their shoulder every waking moment to join the club, if that makes sense. So it's a fine line. You just have to, it goes case by case, if that makes sense. Okay, great question though. Anything else? Anybody else?
Kurt has a comment in the chat. He says sometimes using the term chapter rather than club creates more of a professional perspective.
Right.
Thank you, Kurt, for that comment.
Hey, Ahmad, I had a question real quick, just to kind of piggyback off what you were saying. So like when we're approaching some of these companies, we could maybe pitch the idea of, hey, we'd like to try to form or charter a Toastmasters learning laboratory or a Toastmasters laboratory, as opposed to just using the word club right out the gate, right? In terms of our presentation and the written material or the spoken. I'm assuming either one, trying to use that same cadence with laboratory focus as development, as this will be beneficial to your people, instead of, like you were saying, something that might be beneficial to another organization. That's part of the focus, right?
Yeah, and in that avenue, for instance, in that scenario, Jason, I wouldn't even use the word charter. I would just go to them and start the dialogue has to start with, because of the fact that you don't want to come across that you want to stick a club in their organization to benefit Toastmasters. you want the dialogue to always start off with what can we do to help your employees? And then they will come out and say, well, we need help on training on this. We need organizational training or presentation training or leadership training. And then at that point, you can come back with the dialogue of, we can provide you this specific training. And then based on when you get to the end of the training, then you can offer the opportunity of, okay, if you want to continue the development of this training and take it further, we have this avenue that we can start a Toastmasters club within the company so that you can use that as a development opportunity. That will make it easier for them to digest versus starting out anything having to build the club right off the bat, because they need to see the benefit of the program first. And once they see the benefit and what it can do, they'll be more apt to start a club there than at that point. Does that make sense? If Jason, if you're saying anything, you're on mute. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, that's the tack, because I've heard it from other districts before that as soon as they mention the word club within an organization, you've lost them then at that point. So you just want to stress the benefit of what Toastmasters can do for them, and that will open the avenue of the collaboration portion of it to start with them.
Okay, we'll see if we can work with that. I'm sure, Kayla will be eager to see this slide deck too. She's always eager for new information. So thanks for that great presentation, Ahmad.
Hey, anytime. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, one quick question, one quick comment. I think some smaller organizations may have some may offer employees some self-directed kind of continuing education or development dollars every year, which this would be which is a great avenue for that. You know, and I'm just wondering if we could, you know, I guess from a VPPR standpoint, we need to make ourselves known to those employees of, you know, that we're here and we're great, a great avenue for that.
Right. And that's where this collaboration is to looking to them, because most companies don't know what Toastmasters is. I mean, I've heard when I've talked to a few of them that we thought Toastmasters is that y'all were just training to give toasts. And they didn't understand that this is a communication and leadership organization. So this gives you the opportunity to show them what Toastmasters is, because they're not, for the most part, unless they've got employees within that company that are past Toastmasters, those companies and organizations aren't going to research to try to find Toastmasters. This brings Toastmasters to them versus them trying to go and find out about Toastmasters. So it's just a different way of getting to the same outcome, but just a different path of getting there. And the other districts that I've found out that I've talked with about this, when they've done this approach, they've had a higher success rate versus going through the previous older approach, which there's nothing wrong with the older approach. It's just the more avenues and the more pieces of the pie that you can get, the bigger your opportunity for success is versus just going through one or two pieces of that same pie. Yes, exactly, Ellen. Exactly. Oh, and I'm assuming everyone saw the chat, so that's the reason why I didn't repeat it. Any other questions, anybody? All right, seeing none and hearing none. I appreciate the opportunity for y'all to present, and I apologize with it being a video. It's just I've got a few things going on here, and I thought it would be more effective just record it and let you listen to it and then just do a Q&A at the end of it. So I will send that presentation over to Sonia, and if there is nothing else, Sonia, I will turn control back over to you. Thank you.
Let's show Ahmad how much we appreciate what he did. Thank you, Ahmad. You are just absolutely wonderful. We will now move into, this time we actually do get our 10-minute break. Our next session will begin at 11 o'clock. And Kurt Mincer will tell us about this new pathways. Every time I figure out what button to push, they change my buttons. So Kurt's going to help me figure out where my buttons are and what to do. Can't wait to hear it. Thank you, everybody. See you in 10. Welcome back, everyone. We are delighted to see you here. Our next session is on pathways. And the expert person that I know on pathways is Kurt Mincer. Kurt is a professional trainer. I have seen many of his presentations, and I will post these directions on our District 63 website. And so everybody can see what wonderful instructions he will provide for us. Kurt?
Thank you, Sonia. Good morning, everyone. And before we get started, why don't you go up to the top right-hand corner of your screen and click on that little grid and go down to side-by-side speaker. Once you've done that, you'll see me and the slides. What I want you to do next is on the right-hand edge of the slides, there's a little bright bar. Drag that to the right so that you can see the slides more than you can see me. Because the slides are very important because they have detail. And what I'm saying is very important so that you can understand the detail. What I look like shouldn't matter. So get me out of the way. When Pathways was first introduced, in my chapter, I stood up and gave a speech panning Pathways as a silly, stupid program that didn't work. I got Speaker of the Week for that speech. But within a couple months, I became a Pathways trainer and a Pathways advocate. I became a trainer because, as Sonia said, I had done this for a living. I write software click by click and give directions for large companies who are implementing new software. So I did that. I'm an advocate, right? I'm not a pastor. I'm not going to preach. I'm an advocate because Pathways is the best way we can deliver on our promise to members. And our promise is you spend time with us. We're going to make you an effective, happy, comfortable speaker. Promise. This is the way to do that. So one more thing. This presentation is not about the clicks. I have a click-by-click presentation I'm going to pilot this Monday night at Thoroughbred Toastmasters. If you want to visit that, send me an email and I'll send you a link. This is about you and your understanding and your responsibilities to your chapter. This is all about officers. Here we go. Maybe. And there we go. Back in the day, we had books. We didn't have very many books, but for instance, this Competent Communications Manual took you through the first 10 speeches you should give in Toastmasters, and it had the evaluation forms right in there, and it had directions, one page of directions for every speech. And you gave that, and you became a competent communicator. That's the same thing as completing a path. We don't have this anymore. What we do have is a path. And I'm not trying to insult you, but I want you to understand what a path really is. right? This is presentation mastery. It's 5 levels and 15 projects. And basically, those 15 projects are speeches. That's the same in every path. 5 levels, 15 projects. So if you're a new Toastmaster, if you speak once a month, it takes 1.5 years to complete a path. If you speak every other month, it takes 3 years to complete a path. People have to understand that because there is a sense of flow in here. This is progressive learning. Each level is more advanced than the previous one. Level 1 in every path is identical. It is the 4 or 5 basic speaking skills you need as a Toastmaster. Level 2 is similar in every path because it takes those speaking skills and points them towards the path title that you've chosen. If you do this, this is ideal learning. It's designed to be that. It gives confidence and competence to our members when the member follows the path. Now I'm going to tell you a little story. If your members don't understand and are exposed to pathways when they join, here's what happens. People in the chapter can help you figure out what an icebreaker is. It's a little speech about me. Speech number 2 is sort of like an icebreaker, but different, but I'm not so sure what it should be, but I give it anyway. And by the 3rd speech, we lose members because they don't know what to do and they don't know how to do it. And they think Toastmasters is all about table topics. Well, it's not. Part of the reason Pathways was so challenging was it was confusing. You didn't know how to get to the Pathways part of the site, and you didn't know how to do anything with it once you got there. If you looked at the Toastmasters site, look over here on the left-hand side, there was no focus on development. You needed to do a couple clicks to find where to go to get to base camp. Not that way anymore. When you log in to the international site, you go directly here. This says, I go to base camp. This is a learning organization now, and I understand that because this is right here at top and center. If you're a brand new person and this is the first time you've logged into the website, to the Toastmasters International website, this comes up. Choose free path. This tells people, all right, I got to do this next. And it's important. Your openings page includes the education part and the leadership part and some organizational communication. So officers have a much broader opening screen than regular members. However, yours always says at the top left, go to base camp. Base camp in the old system was interesting. If I'm a member, I'm not sure I know what to do. Well, Kurt taught you what to do. You click on Paths and Learning, and you end up there. This is the new base camp. That has all of the stuff that you're working on. Now, I'm working on a lot of stuff, okay? Most members will only have one of these icons. Maybe 2, but basically 1. So that you log into here and it says, okay, here's your learning path. It's presentation mastery. And you click on that and these are the original paths. If you look at those, that's a lot of stuff. I used to teach people that, and I said, all of these paths radiate out from presentation mastery. But every one of those path descriptions has something about communication in it. Here are the new paths, and there's a difference. In the new path, presentation mastery says recommended. That's what we used to do. We started with this when we had our books. It says recommended. If you pick your paths by clicking and getting the descriptions and clicking on them, or if you take the little survey that recommends paths to you, presentation mastery always comes first and it always says recommended, because that's where we go. If you look at the difference in wording, say in persuasive influence, it says this path helps you build your skills as an innovative communicator and leader. Persuasive influence now says conflict resolution and high-level leadership, develop skills for every situation. All that means is this is beyond presentation mastery. This is the next level, and people understand that. This was the former layout. There again, I wonder what I should do. I wonder what it means. I wonder how to. And when people wonder, they wander. They don't do anything. This is the new one, and it's very simple. If you look, the levels are all listed as level 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. When you click the little drop down next to the level, it shows all of your projects. We're going to look at Know Your Sense of Humor. We're going to click on Know Your Sense of Humor, and here's what we see. The first thing you see is this opening page, which is interesting, but it's also important because down at the bottom, you've got your project checklist, you've got your evaluation resource, and if you don't like electronics and you want to print the project, you can print the project right there by clicking on that. So all of that's there. There's also a whole bunch of stuff down the left side with check marks next to it. In the old world, in order to get started, you had to figure out that, oh, I click on this thing and I click on your assignment because that's how you started. In this version of Pathways, it's all laid out for you. This is called the information library. In the old world, I said the information library is stuff that you may or may not need. And you click on this drop down and the big blue bar comes up and there are things. Now everything is over here on the left-hand side, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 information pieces that I call the information library, because that stuff is information that you can use to help you develop and deliver your speech. You can see over here on the right-hand side that says the value of telling a story, and then it gives you information. Well, you may or may not need that. So what I teach people to do is to go down through these 5 topics and look at them and see if you need to look deeper. And that's all it is. Sometimes people look at this and go, oh my goodness, all of this work, all of this stuff, all of this, and it's too much. There is an incredible amount of detail, an incredible amount. But if you tell people you got to cover it all, it takes a long time. And our goal is not to have full-time Toastmasters. These are people who need to develop their speaking skills, and we need to help them. We don't need to overload them with stuff that they may or may not need. They don't know that unless you tell them. The old paths, what they call legacy paths in Toastmasters, are really not supported. When you click on innovative planning, which is one that I'm using, it comes up and it says all of these things, and at the end of everything, it says legacy. That means all you're going to see is the old version. you need to tell people that, but these are usually people who are experienced members. All right. So that's the way that happens. What should we do as officers to make this work? Well, first of all, you got to believe that it'll work. And if you don't believe that, and if you don't understand that, I challenge you to ask yourself, why are you not an officer? You're a leader. And this is our process. The change is important because it makes things easier. I'm going to do a train the trainer click by click class. I think you need to send at least one officer. And usually it's the VPE, but you do not lay this on the VPE and say, this is all your work. I don't have to do anything, because it's a cooperative work that all of you should be involved in as officers. Now, there's going to be more than one of those classes, and we'll publish that information, and they're all going to be online so that it's easy for you to get to, and it may take about an hour. But it's an important piece for you, because if you don't understand how to work the thing, then you can't help people understand how they should work it. You got to teach them. I'm going to give you at that class a PowerPoint, something like this one, and a step-by-step pictures of what to click when and how and where. So you don't have to make that up. It's already made up. You have to train your members, all of them, because nobody really understands this new system. First, you got to understand it, and then you got to teach it. And you got to teach it to your members. Because remember, this is the way we deliver on that promise. This is the only way. You need to have an orientation process for your new members. I don't know whether you do, but think about it. If I walk into a Toastmasters meeting, I get all kinds of information about what Toastmasters is all about, and it really isn't. It's in chunks and different kinds of, and people do. They go, okay, that's table topics, and then you make a speech that you make up, and somehow everything is cool. No, you got to have an orientation to teach them how the whole process works, how the training piece is separate from the meeting piece. And the meeting has roles, and the training has processes. You need to do both, but you can't ignore the training part. If you do, you're going to lose members about after the third speech, usually. Call that 3 and out. Make sure pathways is in your orientation. It's got to be there if you want members to grow. And make sure all of the coaches and mentors fully understand pathways. I can teach them how to fully understand pathways. I can teach you how to fully understand pathways, and I can give you the materials that you can use to train the other people in your chapter. Also, I'm a resource. There's my email. Write it down. You can contact me. I will do anything I can, including, if it's possible, come and do the presentation for your chapter. Now, don't all of you call me and ask for that, because I only have a limited amount of time that I can spend on Toastmasters. But I'm here to help you, and I'm here to help support you. But you're the ones that have to deliver on that promise. And you're leaders, so lead. If you have questions, put them in the chat, and somebody will read them to me. Or I'll look myself. All right. Okay, thank you very much. Post the recording. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I appreciate you appreciating me. I will even be more excited if I hear about you helping your club grow in the Pathways way. Anybody else have a comment or a question?
Yeah, Sharon has her hand raised. I think she wants to ask you a question or make a comment.
Hi, Sharon.
Kurt, thanks.
Yes.
Can you get, if you're still in, or can you get over to a portion of one of your projects where you show the evaluation resource, and maybe talk for a second about, so that's kind of the newest thing where people can request their evaluator and then it's done online.
Okay.
And I know that right now, most people are used to doing it either on a piece of paper or, mostly on a piece of paper.
Mostly
and
on a piece of
sending
paper.
it, or in a PDF and sending it, as opposed to that more formal way of signing up your person and then they get sent the stuff.
If you use if you use free Toast website for your chapter, there's a place to click on there and get that evaluation form. And that's what those evaluation resources are. They're just the forms. They're PDFs that you can download. And if you download them and open them on your computer, you can actually type right in the form.
Right. And that's what people are used to using. But have you investigated much the new way to do it, which is with the resource click inside your pathway?
All that resource click should do is give you something to give your evaluator. You don't have to. Well,
It is way more formal than that, actually. I
Yeah,
just wondered if you had used it and had any
I
suggestions.
try to keep that part as simple as possible,
Okay.
because the whole thing is I want somebody to give me an evaluation out loud, and then I want them to follow up with a form that documents that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can request evaluation from a whole group of people or anybody you want, but I try to keep that as simple as possible because I want people to be able to go through this and use it simply. My click by click in my training has 15 steps. That's it.
Yeah.
So in
Okay.
15 steps, you can go from the beginning to getting credit for a project.
So I can get credit for, people in my club can get credit for a project as by skipping some of those steps. Like they didn't have to do the formal assignment of an evaluator. They can just go to complete my project. They do their evaluation and click that, and the system will let them say that they're done. That's kind of a question.
Following that,
Kind of a question, but maybe a statement.
once you get through the process, all right, it is not, there are lots of things that aren't required that are there for you. It isn't required that you have an evaluation. What you do is in your meeting, you get an evaluation and that helps you. That's all it's for. It's to help you learn to be a better speaker. When you finish your project, you click on, I finished my project. That's when you get an email, you VPE get an email that says, Fred finished his project, you have to click and give him credit. And then that person can see on their screen that you have given them credit. What you used to have to do is click 2 places. You don't have to do that anymore, just one. And it's right there and it's obvious. Did I answer your question or I just talk a lot?
Yeah, it did answer my question. I guess I was just wondering if the system forces you to use that in any way, maybe not the whole thing, but that you had to upload your resource or anything like that to be able to say that you're done.
No, the system doesn't lock you into anything. I
Okay.
teach people the easiest way to get through a path, because I want them to finish a path. There are things in there that they ask you to do that aren't required. And I show people a little bit of that, but I don't want to confuse them.
Yeah.
Just want people to be able to go, okay, that's 1 out of 15 projects. Now I'm going to number 2. It's not, you can make it very complicated, but it doesn't have to be. And I teach the simplest possible way.
Thank you.
Huh. If you want to come to the pilot of the click by click, send me an email and I'll send you the link to Thoroughbred, because that's where I'm giving it Monday night. 6 o'clock Central Time. Don't have to.
There's a comment in the chat. I completed a speech in the system a few days ago, and it did not require my evaluator to input their feedback, but it was an optional element.
Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. If you didn't get an evaluation, well, if you gave the speech live at a chapter, you got an evaluation. Somebody evaluated you, and you don't have to input that information. They don't have to input it and send it back to you. You can ask them to do that, but it doesn't have to be, the system doesn't say you have to have that. Yep. You can do a paper evaluation in person. You can do it online. You can do it a number of different ways. You literally wouldn't have to do an evaluation at all. But of course, we do those in a club meeting. That's what we do. That's all you need. Anything else? I appreciate you listening. And if you need help learning how to do this inside your club, I'm a resource. Okay? I've been a member, I've been a VPE, I've been a president, I've been an area director, I've been a division director. I know what I'm doing. And I know that for this thing to work, you all have to help that happen. Because it isn't just going to happen automatically. Nothing. You have to be behind it. And remember, what we give people is not what we give them in a meeting. It's what we teach them to do. The meeting helps, but the meeting is not the be-all and end-all of the Toastmaster experience. Can't be. That ain't enough. It's pathways. All right, I said I was an advocate and not a preacher, so I'm going to quit preaching. I'm all finished. Sonia, it's your turn.
Help me show Kurt how much we appreciate him. We have a wonderful resource right here in District 63. The thank yous are starting to come in the chat. So thank you so much, Kurt. Now I have a question for the group. Do you want to have an extra, say 15 minutes as a break, or do you want to go ahead and move to our breakout rooms and have that extra 15 minutes in discussion? If you feel very strongly, because the first people that chat are the people that I'm going to see first. So please put your vote in the chat and let's see what everybody says. Well, it's unanimous, and the first 3 that I see is go to the breakout now. Let's go to breakout. Let's go to breakout. So if you need to take your own personal break, looks like you've been overruled, but please feel free to do as you need to do and then join the breakout when you're ready. Now, I have a couple of instructions that I'm supposed to read before everybody goes to the breakout. Let's see. Our Zoom master tells me to remind you that you will get a 60-second countdown before the breakout ends. So you'll get a warning, but you don't have very much. So just kind of conclude what you're talking about. Now, in our breakout sessions, all of your breakout leaders have some discussion questions. This is not going to be talking at you. This is going to be participation. So if you haven't brushed your hair yet, you might want to run do that, because we're going to ask you to participate and to talk with one another and to learn from one another so that we support each other. The other notification I received was from CJ, Cassandra, who said, if you're in her secretary treasurer's breakout, she asked you to get a mobile device, like a phone or an iPad or a tablet or something. I really wanted to go to her session to see what she's doing. But anyway, I'll be over here with the VPPRs. If anybody else wants to make an announcement before we are going to our breakout rooms, now would be the time. You have a total of about 10 seconds to make your announcement.
Just one question, Sonia. So the breakouts are going to be ending at what, 11:45, or what? I mean, what's the?
Yes, we have Monica who's going to come talk to us at 11:45. Oh, you're the one who sent me that message. So yeah, let's end it at 11:45. So she's not joining a meeting and just looking at an empty main room, because we're all
Sure.
still in our breakouts. So
Sure.
we will be ending in leaders. Did you hear that? We will be ending at 11:45, which is 5 minutes sooner.
12:45?
Yes, Chris is in
12:45.
Miles
Sorry,
Hill.
I'm.
Okay.
He's not
I'm
in
national,
Eastern with us.
sorry.
So the rest of us who are on normal time, which is Eastern, it's 12 for a few of you. And actually, I think you'd be surprised when you find out how many are really central people who have joined us. All right, Chris, is anything else we need to know before we go? All right, see you guys on the other side. See you in the breakout rooms. Everyone, I'd like to welcome you back to the main room. I know you had some great sessions in those breakouts. I know we had a great session in the breakout that I was in, and I know the people who led those conversations, so I know that you had a wonderful session. At this time, I will invite our conference chair for our 2025 annual conference, Monica Thomas, to extend the invite to all of you. Monica?
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. How about we go out with a bang? Can I interest you in taking a look at something for me here? Look, take a look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, January 10th has come and gone. Your 2025 annual conference, Amplify 2025, Elevating the Leader Within, is now open. We have a wonderful team working together of project managers, web designers, as well as social media experts. Listen, Nashville, Tennessee, April 25th and 26th at the brand new Hilton B&A Airport. If you're going to take a flight into Nashville, leave one side and come to the other of the hotel. Listen, our goal is to provide a District 63 leadership conference. We heard the call, and we've created space for you to experience just that. We are, if Chris would be so kind as to place the link in the chat box to the registration site. Ladies and gentlemen, we are already advertising on all of our districts' website. Our ticketing is unique this year. We have a one-day ticket, and or a choice of a 2-day ticket. Well, what's going on within those 2 days? We have workshops and lectures, as well as we have professional, and I mean professional contesting going on simultaneously. Wait a minute, Monica. Why is it simultaneous? Because some individuals want to have a leadership conference and be inspired, and others want to invest in the conferencing contest and support that aspect. So we made sure we carved out room for everyone. Also in that, we're going to meet at the rooftop, the Sky Pavilion at the beautiful Hilton Hotel overlooking the plane landings and arrival planes, and we're going to socialize. And we're going to get to know one of each other. I want to share a few of our speakers that we have already lined up, and we have a few more heavy hitters that are on their way. We actually have the 2024 world champion, Luisa Montalvo. She will be our keynote speaker for the conference. We have session facilitators leading sessions like, for instance, Thriving in a Changing World, Leading with Curiosity and Creativity. Know Thyself, Defining Yourself Professionally, right? We are working with sponsors. We are working with donations that are coming in. We are building a wonderful time for you. Again, only the best for District 63. We're growing and expanding every year. I want to close with this. What is the benefit of early bird registration? We have VIP perks. We want to give you a restful experience knowing that you are already secured. We also have unique gifts for our early bird participants. We will be extending the early bird period, which actually ends July 31st. We're going to extend it a couple of weeks so that to give individuals time to get used to the website and decide what they want. If you have a question, click the info box and we will respond back to you. We've created something amazing. We are so grateful for Amazing Trio and all of our district support in supporting us. We heard the call. We're crafting something unique and wonderful with the goal of inspiring everyone in our district. Hey, thank you for this room to allow me to share.
Thank you, Monica, for giving that plug. Great job. I'm excited about the conference. Can't wait for it to come. That early bird period, I think you said, would go through January the 31st and then maybe be extended. So will everybody be getting permissions that you need and get family things taken care of and join us in Nashville. I would like to ask our trio members if they have a comment that they would like to make as we conclude this session. We have 2 out of the 3 members, and if Kayla has joined, I don't see, but we have Jason and Jeff. Jeff, if you'd like to make a comment, Jason, if you'd like to make a comment, you have the floor.
I don't have a lot to say, except I just finished one of the local club contests this morning. So we're off to contest season, I guess. So international and tabletop is contest. Another division sent me last week the area and division contest area dates for those as well. This week is the last, I think, division E and division D TLI training. So I'll let you know if there's no, that next week is the last district TLI training for the district if they haven't taken the TLI training. Other than that, hopefully go out and check out the website for the spring conference and hope everybody enjoyed the training today. Thanks, Sonia, for putting it together and all the trainers who did the breakout rooms and all the speakers who did the keynotes. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Chris, for doing the Zoom Master today too.
Thank you, Jeff. Wonderful job. Looks like you're in your car. You be safe out there. Jason, did you have something you'd like to speak about?
Yes, I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Again, thank you, everyone. for this excellent training today. Sonia, for all your excellent work, and all the volunteers, speakers, and attendees. This was a good training session. We had a great Division C this other night. Excellent one today. And since another couple of our very important volunteers on here, I'm also going to recognize Monica and her team for their excellent work, and Chris for his tireless work as well, being the digital genius that he is. We really appreciate their continued efforts. This conference is going to be good, really, really good. And I hope that all of you will attend and get the most out of this that you possibly can. I don't even know what Monica's got planned for this thing. We just know the precipice. We just know a little bit. When this thing really blows open, I think it's going to be a lot better than you expect. You remember what it was like when we came back together right after COVID? It's gotten better every year, and it's going to keep getting better. I have full faith in the power of this lady to form one of the most amazing conferences we've ever had. But also want to, and I appreciate all their continued dedication, and I know it'll be an amazing event for everybody. Please attend. And I'll also say this, I'll just, with respect to my fellow district leaders and the deck, everybody, I appreciate your service. And, a particular thanks to Jeff, our program quality director, and Kayla, our club growth director, and all of our division directors as well, because they are our senior leaders. And without them, this district does not function. And I can't do the work. If there's anything that you learn as district director, is that you learn some humility when you come into this role. And I've had to come down a lot. Believe you me, it's been good for me too. It's been a good personality adjustment. But anyhow, I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve you. And if this is something I'm going to just do, I'll ask permission here, but I'll send this out to Sonia. If it's cool with Monica and your team, I took a few pictures of the hotel that we're going to have the conference in, just as I was actually coming out of the airport from coming back from mid-year training earlier in the week. So I'll shoot them over to Sonia. Maybe I didn't go inside the hotel, but I got a few of the outside. That's kind of nice. And we can just share that with you guys. It's kind of cool. It's a nice venue. You got to see it. So I'll share that after the call. But again, thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate you. In our closing announcements, we have upcoming events. Most of these are Zoom events, and the Zoom link is on our D63 online calendar. January the 23rd at 7 Central is our District Executive Committee meeting. You may say, well, I'm not an area director and I'm not a director, and maybe I shouldn't go. You are welcome. It's open to all of the members. And you might find out, well, maybe I do want to step up to a leadership role in the future. So you can just kind of find out a little bit about that. Those are published on our website. The January one is the 23rd, and you can see the other dates on the calendar. January the 25th is the D&E Makeup TLI, as Jeff already mentioned. If you have a member, an officer in your club, we had about 4 or 5 that registered that were not in attendance today, and they're not going to get credit, but they have one more chance in our district, and that'll be January the 25th, which is actually next Saturday. February the 8th at 9 Eastern, it looks like on our calendar is listed a mid-year ADD training. February the 13th, a new club is forming, the Smoky Mountain Speakers. And you can go to our website and help them out. They have, they're just getting together, and they need people who fill the roles and all of these kind of wonderful things. So you can help them out if you want to. That's at 11:30 on Eastern. I think it's the second Tuesday or something that they have their meetings. Again, it's listed on the calendar. And as Monica mentioned, the last upcoming event is April 25th through 26th, the annual conference in Nashville. Everybody mark those days, plan to attend. Now, there are many more events besides the ones I just highlighted. They're all published on the calendar, so go and see what you have. Oh, thank you, Carol. Carol says it's an excellent makeup session, so I'll highlight her and read her comment. Does anybody else have a question or comment? You have maybe 2 minutes. Two minutes where we're going to accept comments from the membership. Comments or questions? usually I get the question, when will my membership be noted on the website? Immediately after this, I will log in as District B Director and mark the attendance that I have did. While you guys have been talking and doing things, I've been marking my attendance and have that, and it will update on the Toastmasters website. It won't be immediate, but give them a day or two, and then you can go and look and be sure. Now, if you attended and I didn't check the little box, it doesn't have your name, it has your office. If I didn't check your little box, please feel free to email me and I will put my email in the chat so you will have access to it. Thank you to everyone who has helped. Thank you to the speakers. Thank you to the Zoom master. Thank you to the breakout leaders. Couldn't do it without you and appreciate you so much. Be careful, CJ, as you're packing those packages.
Hi, Sonia. Are you still there?
Yes.
I
I'm
just
here.
sent you a direct message.
Yeah, I'm taking a picture of it right now.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, that's who I need to contact. I have to email them and say, you were here at this one.
And Denise McBride.
And VPM.
Sonia, thank you
Gotcha.
again for making.
Hi,
room
Monica.
for me.
No, I was
Thank
saying it's two of us from that district here today.
Yes. Oh, Kimmy and Denise.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Well, I get to say it
Okay.
again. Thank you, Sonia, for making room for me.
Well, I am delighted to have you come and do your own pitch. I was going to do a pitch for you, but you did a much better job.
I knew you were. That's because that's what you do, and I appreciate you. I hope to see you at the conference. We can get another hug.
Good to see
Thank you,
you.
everyone.